Hi, my, my name is Locke Heemstra. I'm a photographer here in San Mateo, California. Started out shooting locally here in the Bay Area and did a lot of work up in the Sierra Nevadas with the Boy Scouts as a young in my younger years. That turned out to be a real inspiration for me. Shooting the natural subject matter in the Sierras was both inspiring and awe-inspiring. The mountains, the lakes, just the nature of it all was incredible. After I finished doing that, I went to college in San Luis Obispo and started out as a photojournalist, and did that for the remainder of my college years, about 4 years or so, and eventually became interested in doing more fine art photography in North America. I did a lot of work in New England, the fall foliage colors, the deserts, and just about everything in between, coastal stuff. Once I finished that, I became intrigued with Europe and began to shoot there about 5-6 years ago. Started out in Paris and was totally taken by the European theme, just the history of the nature of the country, how everything was at least 500-600 years old was actually nothing compared to what it is here in North America. Since my first trip to Paris, I've gone back probably 25 times, 30 times, usually 2-3 times a year in order to redevelop my body of work. And recently just got back from Croatia, which was a great experience. The country is becoming more and more popular, it seems like, in the most recent years. The coastal region, the Dalmatian coast, is really a beautiful place to see. The water there is incredible. I've never seen so many hues of different blues in my life. My inspiration in photography is naturally falls back on a lot of the masters, Ansel Adams, of course, Edward Weston, Morley Bear. A lot of these people were shooting 4x5 images, black and white, large format, and they really relied on their compositional skills to portray their images. It wasn't so much the image as the composition of the image, which is what I really rely on. I've printed usually all my own stuff, the old-fashioned way in the wet bath, and most recently most of my images are scanned digitally from film and then printed on an inkjet method, which is known as a giclée. It's French for sprayed ink. It does a very good job. The technology has gotten better and better every year, to the point where there's very few people that print traditionally in the wet bath system. It's just gotten to be the means of doing work this way is far superior to the old-fashioned way. So with that in mind, let me take you on a little tour here of some of the images that I've shot. This is an image in Venice that was done I think about 3 years ago. It took about 3 days to compose this shot. Once I'd done my scouting, I like to come back to it and see if I can improve on it and wait for the weather to cooperate, which it did this morning. And of course you have to watch for other obstructions, such as people and boats and that sort of thing. So this one has been one of my more popular pieces, and this is done on a canvas, which gives it a texture that you normally don't get with paper, so it takes on more of a painted look. People can either hang this as a canvas print like this, or they can put a frame around it to give it a more a finished look. But a lot of people just like to leave it plain like this. This is known as a what do they call this? A gallery wrap. This is wrapped on the side here. So it has about about an 1.5 inch border around the edges, so you can give a three-dimensional feel to it. If it's not gallery wrapped, then of course they'll put a frame on it, and that'll take on a more traditional look, but this is a little more contemporary. Now the other piece that I have next to the Venice composition is a piece that I've done in New England, and that's one of my most favorite times of the year in New England is the fall foliage. It's really something. If you haven't seen the fall foliage in New England, I highly recommend it. It's something that you'll never forget. The colors are just incredible. There's so many different hues of oranges and yellows and reds, and of course the East Coast really compares to nothing in the West Coast, because we just don't have the sort of trees there to give those colors, and it's just an endless rolling hill of flaming color. And if you can compose something in those colors, such as this, you can really turn something like that into a masterpiece. And this last piece I have on the side here, this is actually in upstate New York. The next piece over to the right is in Germany. That's a piece that I did about a year ago. It's a very famous castle called Neuschwanstein. That's Mad Max, otherwise King Ludwig, as we know him today. He built that in the 1700s. He was the king of Germany at the time. He bankrupted the country when he built that castle, and they subsequently put him to rest because of that. But the castle survives to this day, and it's most commonly referred with Walt Disney. He used this castle to model a lot of his fairy tales after this castle. One comes to mind is his castle that he built in Anaheim, the Walt Disney theme park. As I was saying, in Germany, after I shot the Neuschwanstein castle, I decided that I needed to get some work done in more of the Eastern Bloc countries, and Croatia was one of those places that was in very large demand. It's become a very popular port of call recently. So just this last year, I traveled there, and we shot some very interesting subject matter. This in particular is a place called Rob. It's just north of Dubrovnik. It's one of the islands. There's apparently over 1,000 islands on the coastline, and this one was very attractive because of the architecture of the castles and the ability to get access to these castles. This was done by climbing up into the castle through a series of stairwells, and you eventually reach the top and have this panoramic, gorgeous view. So we really enjoyed this particular place called Rob. Another place I'd like to show you is the more popular town in Croatia, Dubrovnik. This is a shot done at night. It came out quite well. It's very colorful. You can see a lot of the hues, the blues in the water, and the reflections of the lights and the nightlife that goes on there. It's very comfortable at night to walk around without too much clothes. The short sleeve is perfectly fine. The entertainment is good. The restaurants, the food is good. But if you really want to see it in the daytime, well, I happen to have another one here of the daytime, and this is it here. One particular point of interest in Dubrovnik is the fact that it's a walled city. These are fortresses that were built hundreds of years ago to protect the town from invaders, pirates, etc. So what they did was they built a wall all the way around this whole city, and you can walk along this wall on the top here and get great views down into the city and over the ocean and etc. It's a really entertaining place. There's lots to do, see, eat, of course, and experience. If you like to sail, it's probably one of the top 10 places to sail. If you like to swim, it's a lot of fun. Or just relax and take in the country. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and looking forward to seeing if you'd like to visit this website that I'm working with right now, montagio.com. You can buy the work on site if you'd like, and if you need more information, like I said, go to montagio.com. That's montagio.com. I'll be doing more of this work in the future. If you'd like to see some of my upcoming themes and new compositions, please contact us through the website and we'll take it from there. Thanks again.